Thank you. So help me bring out Miranda Otto with great Cinequest enthusiasm. For a moment.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for being here.
It's a great pleasure. It's the first time I've actually gotten to see the film on a big screen in a cinema. I've only ever watched it on a computer screen, so it's a real pleasure for me to actually see the film this evening.
Well, we're glad that we could bring that to you here.
Thank you.
Tell me how you feel now after you've seen that.
It's very emotional for me. It's really emotional. It's really raw still. Watching Odessa play Hedvig and everything she goes through, and watching Ewan, who plays Oliver, who I think is such a wonderful actor, and just the level of the pain that he brings to it is fantastic.
Tell me about the adaptation from the screenplay, from the play to the film. So how did what was involved with all of that?
Well, Simon Stone, the director, was an actor, and he decided to become a director, and he directed a lot of theatre in Australia, and he's sort of like the wunderkind of Australian theatre in that he took a lot of classical plays and rewrote them into a modern context, and he had a lot of success. And one of the plays that he did was Ibsen's Wild Duck. And that was a really amazing production, and I was told about it by someone, and then I was lucky enough to see it when it went to Melbourne in a rerun. And it was an astonishing production. Ewan was in the production, and it was just devastating. And then I heard that Simon was making it into a film, and so I went to meet Simon, and he actually changed every word from the adaptation that he did on stage. He decided that he would change absolutely every sentence and set it in a completely different setting, because when he did it in the play, he actually set it in the city, and then he decided to set this in the country. He just changed everything yet again. But
so it was a whole new production.
Whole new production, whole new setting, everything. And I was just really keen to be a part of it, because I thought he's an amazing director, and I thought his relationship with Ewan and the work that they've done together, the performances he gets out of people, were something I really wanted to be a part of.
And it sounds like you approached him, or did he?
No, actually we sort of had like it was almost like a blind date meeting, where it was like one of those meetings where like I don't know if I'm offering you the part, and I'm there going, I don't know if I'm going to do the part, and then by the end of our meeting he was like, I want you to do it, and I said I want to do it. So
cool. So your character carries a secret for a very long time. Mm-hmm. How does that work with you as you're filming, and you have to film in out of sequence? So you're filming. How does that stay with you? How do you work with that?
Well, interestingly, when we shot it, because of people's availability, we actually started. The very first scenes were the scenes at the wedding, the punch up and the huge argument and everything. That's where we started. So the secret was already out from the beginning. The main thing when we were doing it was that I thought we had to be so careful not to signal anything, and sort of pare back things as much as possible, and not show any guilt or look like there is a secret, and yet that when you look at it back you can see that there are little moments of worry.
So you carried a secret through the filming then as well.
What do you mean? Okay,
well, you carried the
true.
secret through the filming.
True.
Is this something that you enjoy doing, going deep into a character like that? Is that
definitely
something you want to do more?
That's the biggest joy in acting, is to find material where you can go that deep, and that it will keep holding you no matter how much you dig into it. You can always find more in there, and to work with people who really push you in the way that Simon does. I was really impressed that even though he'd been a theatre director, he had a really strong visual sense, and he really wanted to keep things acting-wise as loose as possible. He let people sort of improvise a lot, and yeah. And
tell us about your relationship with the daughter. How is that? Well, one, being a mother, and watching your daughter progress through this and watching her reaction. How was that?
Well, relationship with her daughter, because it's, you know, it's very much focused on Olive. I really enjoy reading a lot. When I get the chance to read, I could read for days on end and, you know, not do anything else. And, you know, I catch up on a lot of TV shows and things like that when I'm not working. I don't know, you know, life just goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about your family and how you, now that you've done this and now that you've done this particular film, especially with a daughter in that, how does that come back to you as a mother? How do you look at your interaction with your child?
Well, I don't keep guns around the house.
Not a good thing.
Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, I mean, I think it's always interesting as an actor to go through these things on screen and what they mean to you in your personal life. I'm often playing mothers to children that are older than my daughter, so it's like practice for when I get there. You know, the kind of things that they're going to be going through, the kind of stages that they go through. You know, Odessa, who plays Hedvig, is a very mature young woman. Like, she's 16, but she's got a very special quality, I think, about her, and I thought that was really important when they were casting her, that she had to be everything that Oliver says about her. She has to be a special kid, and you know, the world is a much better place with Hedvig in it, sort of to make it more devastating, I think. And Odessa has that quality. She's wise way beyond her years.
What's her actual age?
16. I think she'll be 17 now. She's
wow. So she really was true in character with her age.
Yeah, but she has that maturity as well. So she's in that really interesting place where, in some ways, she's not that experienced in life, but in other ways, she's, you know, very well read, and she knows, you know, she acts like one of the adults, and then you realize she's not really an adult.
You probably forget that at times.
Yes, you do. Yes.
Tell me about working with such a great cast and such a great ensemble. What was the best part of doing that? What was the best part of working together?
We actually had a lot of fun. We went away to this town called Tumut, which is outside of Canberra, the capital of Australia. And when you go away to shoot in Australia, we shoot with a very small crew, and so it's a lot of fun just being together. Sure. You know, you shoot all day, and then you often go to the pub and eat dinner there and hang out. So it was a really lovely bunch of people to hang out with on and off screen. It was great to be working with people who are so good at what they do, and then that they're also all really delightful people. We had a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah. We needed to have a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, because it was very hard. It was very heavy.
Yeah.
Very, very heavy.
Yeah.
So tell me about where you live. Do you live in Australia or do you live here in the States?
No, I live in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Have done for the last 3 years.
And do you want to go back and live in Australia? Do you want to live in larger land where you actually see land and not concrete?
You know, I was in Australia for a very long time. I resisted coming over, but I'm really enjoying being in America. I really, really enjoy it. So I'm not in a rush to go back. It'll always be there. Yeah. And, you know, I love it. And, you know, it's a part of me. It's definitely, you know, who I am and where I'm from. But I actually really enjoy being here.
And I think that everybody enjoys you being here as well. So we appreciate you being here at this moment.
I have to say, Americans are very welcoming in the film business. They have fostered so many people have come over and worked here, and you know, there's a lot of Australians, that's for sure.
What do you want to do next? What are some of your next, what's coming up on the horizon?
I'm actually starting next week. I'm shooting, they're remaking the show 24, so I'm doing that for TV. So awesome. I'm starting next Monday shooting.
Fun.
Yeah, it will be.
How much time will you spend with that in the shooting?
Well, the pilot takes about 3 weeks to just shoot that one episode, and then, you know, fingers crossed it'll go ahead later in the year, and that'll probably take about 5-6 months to shoot 12 episodes.
Great. So we get to look for you on
On TV?
On TV.
Yeah.
Yes, on TV.
Yes.
We won't mention where, but on TV.
I don't know if I'm allowed to mention
I don't know that
names.
either, so that's why we'll just leave it on TV. That's good. Does anybody have a question that they'd like to ask? This gentleman first here. Yes. Good question. So the question is how difficult or how easy is it to work with the CGI versus real?
Well, actually, on Lord of the Rings, surprisingly, because Peter Jackson was an independent filmmaker, a lot of it felt at times, even though it was a huge production, felt like being on a small budget movie because of the way people work together and the sort of family friendship nature of the whole piece. And actually a lot of things were really actual in the Lord of the Rings movies. Like so many things were actually built and real. And so I didn't actually spend a terrible lot of time in front of a green screen. There were a few things that we had to do, but the great thing with Peter was he wanted to make as much of it real and tangible as possible for us. And the acting with green screen stuff, it can be hard at times. It's a real technique, but I didn't do a terrible lot of it.
Can you tell us what your personal definition of success in a film is?
Success in a film. Success in a film to me is when I see something and I surprise myself. So when I lose track of myself in it and I forget that it's me and I surprise myself in some way. That's the best thing that can happen for me, where I've got no control over what's happening.
Did you feel that at all tonight?
I did. There are some things in particular, it's little things that you tend to find that you enjoy. Like I enjoy the whole thing, but there's little moments that interest you that you didn't realize would be as powerful as what they are.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to allow somebody from the audience
Sure.
to ask another question. So they had some, yes.
I was so impressed with the performances of everyone in the cast. And do you have any a sense of how, I know you do, how the director was able to evoke such wonderful performances?
How did the director? How was the director able to inspire you or motivate you to give your best performance, and everybody else?
He's a really terrific director. He's quite a young guy. I think he's like 32. He's been an actor, so he understands the actor's process, and he's directed a lot of theatre and worked with a lot of really terrific Australian theatre actors. He just has this way of understanding it and then bringing it back to something really simple that you can actually use. I would listen to things that he was saying to the other actors. He just has an amazing eye. Some people have it and some people don't, but he also has the empathy because he's been an actor himself, and he has the what was the other thing I was going to say? He has an amazing eye for it and a great knowledge, I think, of theatre and film. He's also got an amazing enthusiasm. He really he's like a big puppy dog sometimes.
Are you inspired by the younger generation and where they're going?
Yeah, I'm inspired by the younger generation and where film is heading in general. I mean, that's the most important thing in film, is that it doesn't stay stagnant, and that people are always coming up with new ideas and new ways to tell stories and using new technologies. And yeah, I think that is very inspiring.
Sounds like, especially because of the actress who played your daughter, that she comes with so much wisdom that there's probably this new generation that's coming up with a lot of wisdom. This that whole, I don't know if you're affected by the millennials the way that in technology we're affected by millennials, but do you come across that in the industry? About some of the different attitude or knowledge of the younger generation?
There's definitely different attitudes, and you notice in each generation different attitudes. They're so tech savvy, and I look at my daughter and how instinctual it is for her, that world.
Yeah.
And it is confronting. It's confronting. I've worked with a number of young actresses, and I worked with Dakota Fanning years ago, and it was confronting how brilliant she was, and she was also doing all her school study at the same time, so that she would rock into the scene, do something amazing, and then go back and study geology, and she could sort of do, whereas us grown-up actors have to spend the whole time working on it.
Yeah.
She could kind of part-time it and be brilliant.
Wow. Yeah, see, I don't even think about that, but yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
no, they have to
go
do
through
study
studies,
all the
right?
time. I mean, Odessa didn't, because she decided to leave school, so she's not studying anymore. But yeah, generally when you're working with kids, they're also studying as well.
And they have their restrictions as far as how much they can work, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's something.
And
I
they have
didn't
to
even
go
think
off and
about.
clock up so many hours every day of study. Yeah.
You probably can't take them along to the pub with you. Well, not that you're talking about, right?
The drinking laws are different in Australia.
Sure. I'm going to ask the audience for one last question, and let's see if anybody is inspired right now. Up on the balcony. Yes.
Hi.
First off, thank you so much for that performance. My question is, that last scene with you and the guy playing your husband in the hospital, where did you have to go as an actress to get that raw emotion for that scene?
Do I need to announce that again for you guys? Okay, thanks.
Well, the good thing was we actually shot that on the last day, so we'd been through so much already. I mean, as an actor, you have to imagine those things for yourself. You imagine it with your own family. You imagine all those things. But it's also just being with the other actor. And I know Ewan had, played this role on stage, and he was so inside it that just being with him was a great thing. Just being able to look into his eyes and see where he was. But it was a really tense day. That whole day in the hospital. It was a hard place to be for a long time.
Thank you. So you guys, please help me give Miranda another great Cinequest. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can we stand for her? We'll let you take a picture. I'll take your mic. I'll let you take a picture. People want to take pictures of you. Yeah.
Look, I've got my phone in my pocket.
So we'll give this as your photo op for you. For a quick photo op. You guys remember that tonight's party is over on 2nd and San Fernando at M Asian Fusion. We will have parking validations outside. You coming up? Thank you so much. What's your favorite ice cream?